fresh money. How I closed a $3.5 million sale. The deal and the process, step by step. When you get into upper level, higher level selling, things are not as simple as you flipping an item. So let me walk you through what my life used to be like. First thing, when I was selling office furniture, I was a data junkie, always keeping up with tenant leases. There was this software that we had that was called CoStar. And within CoStar, they had all of the leases or expired leases or expected leases. Because when a big company is moving, this is something that usually is planned 2 to 3 years in advance. They just don't like snap their fingers to say, hey, we're going to move. There's a lot of moving parts to it. You've got the furniture aspect, you've got the getting the new space, you have the build out, you have the computer, you have the telephone. And often the telecom and the computer stuff is kind of bundled together. Sometimes it's not. And then you've got your commercial real estate deal. So I was in my office one day and I was just, going through CoStar and I saw this huge lease that was ready to expire. I mean, it was like massive. And I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of square feet. And I was like, look at this. This is very interesting. So I started making some phone calls and I reached a facility manager who actually on the phone confirmed that this company was moving out. And he also let it slip. And this is why you got a network. He said, there's 3 potential tenants that are looking at this space. And I was like, oh, my good man, who are these tenants? Because one of the things you have to learn in sales is you have to be very aggressive. You just can't sit back and let stuff come to you because it may never come. So the facility manager was very forthcoming, told me who was looking at it. I immediately got on the phone and called all 3 of those companies. And one of my tricks was to call the CEO. You're never going to reach the CEO. You're going to reach the CEO's assistant. And the assistant is generally like a company-wide move like that. She's going to know, or he's going to know exactly who you need to talk to. So I called them, and then one seemed to be very, very interesting because it was Colonial Pipeline. And it's like, well, Ed would be handling that. So I got Ed's number, start calling Ed, and I got Ed. This, speed. You can't wait until tomorrow on these things. And Ed was like, we just looked at the property. You must have some outstanding information. And Ed was just like, yeah, we're going to move. We're going to move about 20,000 people. That's a lot of people. And we will be looking at various things. And so that's how I got in, by being a data junkie and looking up, just being very good on the phone, because you had to be able to acquire knowledge and then be able to act on that knowledge. And then this started our courtship, because typically when you want to reach a company when they're at that we have decided to move phase, the decision that's been made to move, they're looking. Because typically once they have made the decision to buy, the sign a lease, it's too late for the furniture. It's too late because all of this stuff is part of them running the numbers and looking at what it's going to cost. So I was Ed's guy. There were some other people who came in, but since I got on the deal first, and this was 12 months of constant communication, samples, taking people to showrooms and stuff like this. So typically, large deals take time to mature. You're not going to do a 3.5 million deal like that. There's going to be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of due diligence. There's going to be a lot. And, to date, this was the largest deal I've ever done in my life on anything. And one of the reasons that it worked out the way that it did was my mindset. I had a very aggressive mindset. I remember being in my office like, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Because it was kind of scary. I'm talking to all these people. When he said we're moving 20,000 people and offices, the IT, this was going to be a multi-million dollar project. Just, when he said 20,000 people. And, the the first sum was 3.5 million. And then there was some additional purchase that came a little later that probably brought the total up to about 4 million. But the big deal was done. It was 3.5. And then I had to bring in some assistants, other salespeople, because we had to run schematics. If you're selling office furniture, there's a thing called a print where you take their space and you go ahead and have your designer draw up the blueprints for what the new furniture is going to look like in their new space. So there was so many things that were going on. So I had to bring in a little help. The profit on this deal, which it was 12 months before we actually got any money. Because they hadn't made any decisions on where they were going to lease. And once the space was leased and documents were signed, it was off to the races. It's okay, like we're moving to Sanctuary Parkway, and this is what we got going on, and this is where the measurements come in. Then it was like, okay, because this stuff had to be made. It wasn't sitting in the warehouse, except for the Herman Miller Aarons. They bought well over 1,000 Aarons. The profit on this $3.5 million deal was almost $1 million. And the way that we operated was the salespeople got 50% of the net. So we did $1 million in profit. 50% of that was mine. Biggest deal of my life, life-changing money, totally changed my situation in life, totally changed how I looked at stuff. And one of the things you have to understand is big business requires patience and time. This isn't something that's going to be a quick pony. And one of the things about these kind of deals is at any point they can fall apart. Someone can change their mind. Someone can not like how you smell that day, because each time I talk to Ed, and the beauty of this is using my technique of calling the CEO's office and getting a direct plug, because the CEO assistant transferred me directly to Ed. So it was a call that was coming from an internal number, which is one of the reasons he's answered it. Just a lot of sales tricks that you can still deploy today, because if you're doing big deals, you're going to have to be good on the phone. You're going to have to be good with people, and you have to be good with time management. So we put the furniture in, got paid, had a very short punch list, because part of the property, part of the ease of the deal was it was a new property, new space. It was a huge spaces. So that made the measurements very easy. It was crazy how well this deal went and how easy it was in terms of the execution. And also it changed me because talking to those hoteps the other day, talking about they making money in multiple streams of income. I'm like, that money changed my whole life. It changed how I looked at stuff. It changed many, many different things. Many, many different things. I was in the position, and when you go to the bank with that kind of check, the girl behind the counter, she gets loosey goosey. Oh, how you doing, Mr. Cameron? Oh, you're doing very well for yourself. The flirting was on. And, part of this is the ability to see yourself. Because once again, going back to the conversations we had yesterday, if I had those self defeating thoughts, well, I'm black. They ain't gonna do business with me. I never would have made those phone calls. I never would have been on the phone. I never would have did the things that I did. Well, when I was selling office furniture in Atlanta, there was 5 black salesmen selling on the level that I was selling. There was 5 of us. I knew 2 of them. I had met 2 of them, and the other 3 I heard about. Part of the deal is, and I'm about to tell you something else about commercial real estate. A lazy commercial real estate broker will make half a million a year. And this is someone who takes weekends off. This isn't like someone like my boy John, who is a grinder. John be up in the office all the time. John would be flying to London just to look at a property. And that's why he makes 3 million a year. But a lot of these guys, his assistant made 500,000. Commercial real estate. And when I was doing this, there were not many black folks. I didn't see one black person. I didn't see one black commercial real estate agent. And when I became a business owner, I remember seeing this sister, and she was showing me this property because we were thinking about renting what used to be an Eckerd Drugs. And, it was just, thinking about a storefront. And I told her, and she said, "Yeah, it's changing," because she says, "I don't really see too many other black commercial real estate agents." And it's amazing how all it takes is one person to open up a door. All it took, because after me, there's several now. There's several black furniture office sales people. All it takes, one person to open up the door, to lead the way, because I got out of the business, but I kind of kept my ear to the ground for a little while, and I noticed the changes. I noticed who got hired. I noticed the people who were coming into the field, because once I had to deal with JDA and I left business environments, um, I was out. Because typically when you're networking with people who do the commercial real estate, the folks who do the telecom, if you don't have any good information for you, they really don't have any use for you. So those relationships faded in time. There's a few people I still know on LinkedIn. David Murad is one of them. It's very interesting, and this opened up my eyes because I got to know a lot of business owners while I was doing this job. I got to look at a lot of financials. I got to look at what these companies were making. It was a great job for someone who would later on become a business owner. But that's how I got the $3.5 million deal. And this is why I have the mindset and the attitude that I do, because typically, with the hoteps and the folks who are self-defeating, they have not entered into mixed company. They've never done anything like this. They've never had these kind of deals. They've never had these kind of interactions. And for someone who's never been in the room, how do you know what the temperature is like in the room? I've been in the room. I've seen the big checks. That's the deal. And if you are a person of color, the only thing that's stopping you from achieving any kind of success that you want would be you. This is what it is. What's up, Cruz? Good morning. Glad to catch this early morning gold as always. Getting through your YouTube tax course. Thanks. I think I know which courses I need in my next strategy. Appreciate the $10 super chat, my dude. Continued success. And, with Cruz here, my courses are derived from things I have done. There is no theory, there is no conjecture. And if you buy a course, you have lifetime access to it. You can go back and revisit it. I actually encourage you to go through the course 5 or 6 times, because essentially, to get to this big money, you're going to have to make big moves. You're going to have to make scary moves. I mean, it's scary calling a multi-billion-dollar company trying to get a sale. There's so many things that can go wrong. And, I used to do my research. I used to like research who the CEO was, just to get a feel for the company culture, because company culture is very important when you're trying to get in. And, oftentimes it's just a matter of fit. The Colonial Pipeline people were business casual, no suit and ties. I went in there just like they were. Cruz Anton, it's amazing the way you lay information. I could tell you put work into seeing how people learn and what they need. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Because you swear about one of your courses about 5 years ago. I still go back from time to time. Thank you. That's cool, man, because you should. And another thing that I try to do with the courses is make them evergreen. This is why I typically stay away from trendy stuff. This is why I never got into the Kindle publishing. This is where I never got into the Amazon FBA. This is where I never got into the Shopify drop shipping thing. That's trendy stuff. And it changes. So, because the thing with Trump, a lot of these drop shippers, Alex Becker, he stopped running those ads once it became unviable. Remember the wolf mug, dunk, and the hand gesture? That went away, and he started pushing his own product. I mean, these template businesses are very temporary, and many of the guys who are in them are starting to expand because they've run into some problems. Cruz, exactly. It's better to learn business and structural foundation than you can branch into whatever you want with the right mindset. Thanks, Apple Mac. Thomas Downer, the links are below. Because, today's presentation is going to be asking for the money. Because many of you need to learn how to sell. Now, asking for the money works much better if you have something that you're trying to sell. Appreciate it, Thomas. Because when you are actively engaged in business, your world changes. Everything changes. Like how you look at stuff. Like one of the things I used to do when I was in outside sales, I would never listen to regular radio. I will listen to talk radio, or I will always have something like Earl Nightingale or Anthony Robbins. There's this another guy I can't think of. I would always have some sales information in my CD player. Whenever I was going to the appointment, I'll be listening to Earl Nightingale because it got you in the proper frame. It's like I'm here to be of service. So if you're in outside sales, never listen to talk radio or bubblegum stuff because that will distract your focus. Go out and get yourself some audio tapes about sales and listen to that. That will make a big difference in your income. A big difference in your income because you're feeding your mind the proper stuff. You're feeding your mind things that will help you make money. You're feeding your mind the good stuff. Because this is one of the tricks that I learned. Because, I don't know if they're still around. Let me see. I'm going to share with you one of the sources. Uh, all right. They've changed stuff, but this is how they used to do it. They would send you the stuff, and then you had like 30 days to pay for it. Let's see. They've got Brian Tracy is someone I used to listen to. Oh, The Psychology of Selling, Brian Tracy. This is old. I used to listen to this. Let's see. What do they have in here? Because Earl Nightingale has died. Huh. This is my first visit in years. Because essentially, what they would do is they would send you this stuff free. They would send you the audio tapes, these CDs, the new Psycho Cybernetics, the Theater of the Mind, the Essence of Success. This is a good one to get. So, it's cool now you can get digital downloads. Because at first I used to get cassette tapes, just to let you know how long ago this was, right? Then I upgraded to CDs because I went back and got some of the courses because I would just listen to them over and over and over again, over and over and over again. This is the stuff you need to be listening to versus World Star or Real Housewives of Atlanta. If you're listening to that stuff, you're just feeding your mind garbage. You're it's not going to help you make any money. This stuff, listening to this stuff, will, I assure you, will help you make money. The Strangest Secret. This is another one by Earl Nightingale. CD DVD combo set. Just go here and poke around and see what you would like, and look for the sales stuff. Look for the Earl Night, anything that Earl Nightingale has put out. You can go ahead and get that. That's going to help you. Uh, I haven't. done this one, accelerated learning techniques. That sounds like a good one to go ahead and pick up on. But yeah, go there, poke around, and start getting some of these things. It was where I used to listen to classical music. You talk about expanding your mental limits. Apple Mac. What Glendon's saying is true. When you change your mind from being a consumer to a producer, your producer mind see opportunities in the same places that your consumer mind saw none. That is very true. That is very true. What's up, Antonio Williams? Feel you, Big G. I listen to you all day at work on my Bluetooth, then go home and listen. To get tired of you is like saying I'm tired of getting rich financially and mentally. Oh man, appreciate that. Cruise, I like both because I drive, so audio is perfect no matter what I'm doing, but a real reader too, so I love books. Print something about. And the Johnson 22 Immutable Laws of Marketing is a great book. Okay. Yeah, because essentially you want to have a library of sales books and Audible, you could juice up your phone with a lot of you want to get sales, marketing, and psychology. One of the things that helped me was I was very in tune to how people feel. Like, the conversation yesterday with the lady I wanted to assume was racist. And I ended up emailing her to find out why I didn't get the deal. And she told me that her boss was just putting her in a hard spot and ended up tapping that because of my mindset. You want to work on your mindset. You want to work on personal psychology. Um, One of the things that's very helpful, let's see. All right. What you want to do is go ahead and get yourself an Audible account. And you want to just stack that up. You want to consistently feed your mind stuff that's information that's going to help you make money. A lot of these older sales books are still outstanding. You want to probably, sales, marketing, psychology, copywriting. This is what you should have on your phone. Because everyone, because one of the things that can happen is, Amazon is kind of wild, is a wild place, right? Because let's see, Amazon. Let's go with books. All right. He puts out a lot of good stuff. Daniel H. Pink. He puts out a lot. Let's see. Okay. Why are they? I don't want an MP3 player. Okay. All right. So one of the tricks you can do, depending on, you can find these books very cheaply in the used section. All right. So here's this book. Kindle edition is $12.99. You can get it used for $5, $1.99, So this is a one way that you can stack up on, you should have a library of sales information. You should have a library of books that you reference. And when you're in your car, you should never listen to pop music radio stations. There always should be on a YouTube video, a TED talk. This is what I filled my mind with all the time. I never listened to regular music. And during work hours, and this is one of the things that you got to understand. I didn't do any chit chat with my friends when I was working. I forget who put me on to this tip, but when you're working, your work hours, because when you start auditing your time, your hours, you dramatically will self-improve because what gets measured gets done. And there are many people who feel they work 40, 50 hours a week, but when they take out transit time, they take out chit chat time, they're only working 15, 20 hours a week. So if you were to actually work doing work hours, you would make more money. Just poke around in psychology. Yeah, what Apple was said, cool. The problem is there's so many opportunities and they all require time and money. For example, starting to use car lot, getting a car for cheaper, selling it for good profit. Well, once again, this is, what the five, the money management account will help you. There are many people who make enough money to launch their own business. They just mismanage their personal money. Anthony Johnson, I'm going to tell you, if you're able to get results from ad campaigns, you got a job. I don't have any Amazon affiliate links. Um, don't have any. Thanks, Anthony Johnson. Because see, this is what you need to get. So you need to, because I had a very good consulting call the other day, and it started with him buying this. You need to get, what the heck? All right. All right. Money management is the basis of finance and wealth development. He bought this course, and this is why he bought a consult, because he thought the course was tight and it was real smooth. You need to get this, and I'm going to start closing windows because go to Nightingale Conant, poke around. I may go ahead and put together a list of books and recommend that later today. All right. So to get you toned up, this is what you need to go ahead and get. And these links are below the video. The Art of Holding, if you got your own company. The Hustler Kung Fu book collection for people who want to do resell. Becoming the Boss, 30 days to 2,500. 30 days to 2,500 physical products. I'm not pushing disruptive mating on this channel. Tax Slayer for Beyond the Average Citizen. Asking for the Money, How to Be an Uber Salesperson. Just go below the stream, and there's a bunch of courses that will help tone you up. Because the thing is, you need to become a salesperson in your personal life as well as your professional life. And this is something that many people just don't understand. I don't want to do sales. I don't want to come off salesy. Once you should read books on persuasion. That's a very big thing. That should be in the psychology, persuasion, because people like, I don't want to be a salesman. You don't want to take responsibility of your life. Once you get into this sales game, once you start to get some benefits, people could not tear you away from this because I had sales ability. And once I channeled it, my life changed dramatically. It really did. It changed dramatically. DL, Google Academy. Anthony Johnson, I want to get a couple of years of that tech type money so I can buy up all this lakefront property these Caucasians are going after in the hood. Real estate junkie. Yeah, I'll probably do that later on today, DL. What's up, Thomas? Thanks for the $10. Thomas Downer, I make good money as a trucker. Which course should I start with? You should start with, because the thing is with truckers, I don't want to mislead you guys. That trucker life makes it hard for you to start another business, but you should start with 30 days to 2,500. That will give you ideals about what to start. I bought no real estate. That starts in August. I'm waiting. It starts in August, September. But yeah, my next stream today, I will do a book recommendation of books that I've read. I will put that together because many people, because this is one of the things that I consistently did. I always had, because right now it's in my phone, everything's on Audible, but I've always had a mini university. Because look, once again, if you read 20 business books a year, that's going to give you so much knowledge. It's unreal. Royston, thanks for the $10 super chat. Appreciate you. If you just, because self-education, as I was talking about, I'm gonna show it to you because this girl, she has self-educated herself to about $20,000 a month. She is 20 years old. I found out that she graduated high school in 2017. It's only 2019. Once again, I am following these kids because they up on some stuff. I mean, I want you to think about this. This girl is never going to have a regular job. She's just not going to have a regular job. She's doing this internet life thing. And like I said, because when I saw her, I was like, she looks like a kid. And, I was like, 22? I don't believe that. And, she's 19 or 20. And what got her to where she is? Self education. Self education. You got to create your own learning curriculum. This is what helped me close this $3.5 million deal. Before I got there, I had digested Earl Nightingale. The Power of Your Subconscious Mind is a book that everyone needs to read. This will teach you not to have negative thoughts. I had someone poo-pooing this. It's like, oh, the power of your subconscious mind. If you are part of if you're in your understanding of your Asiatic black man history, our ancestors were very much about the esoteric and the metaphysical. Yeah. Message, because a lot of people there don't understand there is physical law and there's mental law. Like I do something that's a form of the law of attraction, but I juice it up. Antonio is in a town of 20,000 trying to figure out how to serve at least 1,000. Essentially, so this is one of the things. You got to have your learning university. You got to listen to the right stuff because many people like Facebook, like those fools who came on Money, Income, and Profits personal page. Once again, I had to divest myself of that because all they would do was suck up precious time talking about nothing. It's a bunch of white guys who are offended that I had the nerve to say this needs to change without knowing me, without, they just got triggered. They just went in, they just walked in and went, ah, so white men own businesses. So that's the way it should be. That's the way I wanted to be. I'm afraid to be in the world where black folks own most businesses. That's kind of scary. That means my white privilege, which hasn't been working lately, really won't work. Just T, so hard and so true. So true and so hard to put in action. Because one of the things is, um, probably do this one is working and recommended books. So the next stream I'm going to talk about, because one of the big things is the concept of work. When you eliminate distractions and you sit down and you actually work, you cut out the Facebook and all of these shiny objects and you actually work, you can get so much done. And the more that you get done, the more money that you can make. This is one of the things. So a big part of being successful is having, I'm going to talk about some other stuff because there's too much to put into one stream. But, oh, Levi Reed, some of them do. I mean, like those white dudes who are fighting with me on my page. It's very interesting. So what I'm going to do is stop it. I'll be back later on today with some more, with a book recommendation. Yeah, you got to be careful with social media. All right. So this is how I did the 3.5 million deal. And I'll talk about some more stuff today. So see you guys in the next stream.